The trail through the forest is long, especially for one weakened by disease. There are rumors of a pixie gathering deep in the trees that heals even the most stubborn ailments. Finding them is a shot in the dark, but the gentle bird song and smooth breeze through the trees keeps you company as the trees close in around you, slowly filtering out most of the afternoon light. You check briefly for mist or fog and laugh quietly to yourself. Barovia is only a legend, as is Strahd von Zarovich. The trees grow tighter and darker, though your mind has long since wandered from the forest path as you try to escape the pain of your existence. But that's when it suddenly registers. The birds have gone quiet, and the wind whistles ominously through small strands of silk that hang down from branches. The spiders in these parts must be running unchecked to create so much webbing all over. You make a mental note to keep your eyes focused on the trees before proceeding on. Not a few minutes down the path, you are stopped by a thick web that spans the entire trail. You gently touch the web with your sword, but in your current state, it is too strong for you to cut. It could be a mistake to leave the trail, but if you turn around, your death is all but guaranteed. Leaving the trail was a mistake, as the silk strands have trapped you in some kind of maze. How will you defend yourself if attacked? This was a stupid idea, and now you're stuck. Suddenly, a creature appears to the right of you, and you see bright white strings fly out at you and hold your limbs fast. As you frantically try to break free, your attacker approaches quietly with a small line of web stretched between its claws. It wraps the web around your neck and pulls it tight, making you unable to breathe or even think as it slowly crushes your windpipe and spine. Fire! You need fire to burn away the webs. What about the forest? Should the creatures living here suffer because you are dying sooner than you thought? Who cares for them? As your vision starts to go black and your head feels like it is going to burst, you reach into your satchel and magically seize your striker. You thrust your hand onto the nearest bit of web and squeeze with all your might. Welcome back to a Compendium of Monsters. It's Ettercap Week. Before we continue, slash those webs and pound that subscribe button. It helps me out a lot. Ettercaps are challenge level 2, and if you put 2 and 2 together, something very strange happened to make this creature. These medium monstrosities have an armor class of 13, average hit points of 44, a speed of 30 feet, a climbing speed of 30 feet, and dark vision out to 60 feet. Despite having half the required legs for classification as a member of Arachnida, Ettercaps have the spider climb ability, which allows them to climb difficult surfaces, even upside down on ceilings without having to make an ability check. Ettercaps have the Web Sense ability. Not comparable with Spidey Sense, Web Sense allows an Ettercap to detect a creature in contact with a web that the Ettercap currently touches. So does that mean an Ettercap can cover a forest in webbing and it can just detect the entire forest? I guess. As for their final ability, Ettercaps have Web Walker, because yes, you would expect a pseudo-spider creature not to get caught in its own f***ing web. Otherwise, they would naturally select themselves out of existence. Ettercaps have a basic multi-attack that features 1 bite attack and 1 claw attack. The claw attack deals an average of 7 slashing damage. The bite attack is a fun little twofer because, I mean, look at those f***ing mandibles and tell me you didn't expect a little excitement injection. What a choice of words. On a hit, the bite deals an average of 6 piercing damage and forces the target creature to make a Constitution saving throw or take an average of 4 poison damage and be poisoned for 1 minute. The creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns and end the poison effect on a success. If you don't like biting or claws, don't worry! Ettercaps have the web action, which allows them to spray webbing at a creature and attempt to restrain them. The restrained creature can escape using a strength check or by destroying the webbing. The webbing is immune to bludgeoning, poison, and psychic damage, but is vulnerable to fire damage. Though starting a fire in the middle of the forest is probably a stupid idea, especially if there are webs all over the place. An Ettercap's web action has a 1/3 chance to recharge each round, so try to keep it focused on the tank. Though before we move on, I need to ask why the webbing is immune to bludgeoning damage but not piercing damage. Let's say you have a broom and you plan to remove spider webs from your dwelling. Are you going to use the handle end or the brush end? Probably not the handle end unless you're a f***ing psycho. Ettercaps are ambushers and have the variant ability that reflects this, Web Garrote. So long as an Ettercap has advantage on its attack against a medium or small-sized creature, that creature takes an average of 4 bludgeoning damage and is considered grappled. Until the creature escapes the grapple either by a strength check or other means, they are unable to breathe and the Ettercap has advantage on attack rolls against them. Ordinarily, I'd make a wisecrack about how stupid it would be for a creature to garrote with spiderwebbing. You're just gonna break it on your victim. Actually, no. Structurally, spider silk is 5 times stronger than steel, and if a human generated spider silk like spiders do, they could very realistically use it to capture airplanes. Spooky, right? While the Ettercap description isn't filled with egregious writing sins, it certainly provides entertaining material for my video. For example, Ettercaps are humanoid spiders that tend, feed, and watch over spiders the way a shepherd oversees a flock of sheep. They lair deep in remote forests. Wait. Ettercaps watch over spiders the way a shepherd oversees a flock of sheep? Oh gosh, they really didn't intend for this to happen, but what do you think of when you hear that sentence? Spider Jesus! Hallelujah! I'm a heathen, so I actually had to look up how hallelujah was spelled. Don't come for me, Spider Jesus! Somebody help! Fine strands of silk stream from glands in an Ettercap's abdomen, letting it shoot sticky strands of webbing to bind, entrap, or strangle its victims. So, spinnerets aren't good enough for you, wizards? And those mandible things on its face could easily facilitate the spitting of webs. Instead, they shoot spider silk from their abdomens. But where? Look at this abdomen. Do the strands burst forwards like abyssal pimples? That's just nasty. Though they dwell in the wilds, Ettercaps have no desire to live in harmony with nature. A forest infested with Ettercaps transforms into a gloomy place, choked with webs and infested with giant spiders, giant insects, and other sinister predators. So what I'm hearing is that the different denominations of Spider Jesus live in harmony with one another? That's a f***ing surprise given... never mind. I'm surprised that giant spiders live alongside giant insects, given spiders are not insects but are instead arachnids. If this hypothetical situation were to occur, I imagine the giant spiders would prey on the giant insects or other sinister predators, because what else would live with Spider Jesus and its flock of spiders? Creatures that wander too far into such a wood are soon lost in a maze of webs that dangle with the bones and lost treasures of the Ettercap's victims. Some meet their end wandering blindly into traps or sections of the forest enclosed by webs. Others the Ettercap garrotes with strands of web or envenoms with its poisonous bite. I have a variety of issues with this passage that I've cobbled together, namely the fact that I composed it from 2 different sections. These things are all related. My main issue is that the choice of words displays the writer does not understand the difference between venomous and poisonous. To put it simply, if I bite you and you die, I am venomous. Or maybe I have rabies. If I bite you and I die, you are poisonous. A bite that envenoms a target creature is venomous, not poisonous. But how about the poor suckers the Ettercaps catch in their webs? I mean, look, if you're walking through a forest and see a bunch of spider webs, that's a signal for you to turn the f*** around and leave. Unless you're hunting spiders, then have at it. Ettercaps are natural enemies of fey creatures. The foul creatures set web snares to catch sprites and pixies, which they hungrily devour, and will encase a dryad's tree in webbing in a vain attempt to trap the dryad. Otherwise timid fae will sometimes approach outsiders for help in dealing with an Ettercap infestation, being ill-equipped to deal with the malevolent creatures themselves. Honestly, this is a great way to introduce your party to a forest community of fae and get your players and their characters used to fighting spiders. They can't just burn the webbing away because they'll take the whole forest down, but the Ettercaps will continue to kill fae unless something is done. Did you ever want to become a hero to the forest realm? Well, here you go. Anyways, what do you think of Ettercaps? Let me know in the comments below. A special thank you to my incredible patrons. And thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, share my video on your Twitter, Facebook, or other social media, and make the leap to become one of my patrons on Patreon. I'll see you next time.